Hey Vikings, I'm Katherine Kaiser with the Bryan High Norseman newspaper, and I'm here with Dr. Brian Merrill, the Executive Director of School Leadership for Bryan ISD, and Mr. Lester Banks, Head Monitor for the high school campuses. Thank you for being with us today to talk about the Ambassador Program.
Absolutely. We appreciate the opportunity to come out and speak today. And clearly, I've got the campus celebrity with me, Mr. Banks, in and around everything. He's got his hands in doing everything. So we're very honored and privileged to be here today.
So what is the Student Ambassador Program?
Well, the Student Ambassador Program is a group of students that have decided or we've encouraged them to lead out on their campus. And so we've challenged them in various ways to really take on the idea of agency, the idea of leadership and improving their campus. And so we've put together a group of some of the best teachers and staff members that we have in Bryan ISD, including Mr. Banks, and asked him to lead out and giving the kids the opportunity to serve not only their campus, but in a larger sense, the district, because there's 16,800 students in the district, and we've asked about 250 to be ambassadors. So we're asking those students to really take a lead, an initiative in all different kinds of ways. And I joked before we began that we could have named the ambassadors the Lesters, simply because so much of what Lester Banks does in and around this community is what we're patterning the ambassadors off of, serving the greater good, giving back. And when there's an event that takes place in this community, it's inevitable that Mr. Banks is going to be there, standing there with his keys, leading out with a vest on, making sure that everything runs properly and that everything takes off. And this community has, better because of the Lester Banks of the world. And we just want to create the next generation of Lester Banks, honestly, through Bryan High, Rudder, Bryan Collegiate, Davila, and SFA. And so we're giving them the agency, giving the students the agency to make the changes that they see, asking them what they want to do, asking them what they want to improve, asking them what they will commit to, and then giving them not only the leadership, but the support and financial support to be able to make those changes happen. So that's maybe a long answer for what the student ambassadors are, but they're just a group of students that are committed to making Bryan ISD a better place.
So what are some of the things that students do as ambassadors to make things better?
So just the first initial events that we've had were the Back to School Bash at Fannin, and they were out leading, making sure that every student was prepared for school. We have the Habitat build that Ms. Carabine set in front of us to build a house for a deserving family in Bryan ISD. They're helping at the games. Lester's been a part of that. Lester sets up all of Merrill Green. I mean, he and Chris Gibson and a few other people are out there making sure that Friday night takes off and it's just done at a top-notch level. And it's more than obviously just a football game. A football game happens, but you've got the band, the drill team, the cheerleaders, our color guard. You've got so much of the student body. It's just a full campus experience. And so we are handing out flyers for the Habitat build there. We've also done convocation. We participated in convocation. And I think really one of the things that moving forward that I think when we considered who we needed to bring on board in leadership and we thought about Lester was they're going to decide a campus initiative, and that could look different depending on each campus, but they're going to think about maybe what's something we want to improve, what's something that we want to be different, what's something that we can maybe start or really just take off, and whatever that campus initiative is, you can bet that Lester's going to be there. And so as they're deciding those things and as they're thinking about maybe putting up a military wall or, for example, we had a special needs prom that we put on at the end of last year. It could be redecoration of the bathrooms. Those are all things that the ambassadors have thrown out. I know that Lester's going to be there, help supporting with keys and those types of things. So just depending on where they go, what rabbit trail they hop down and where they take off to, we know where we're going to be.
So what are some of the things that have been brought up for that?
For the campus initiative? Mm-hmm. I appreciate you asking. So I've already mentioned some. Definitely one of them would be the redecoration of the bathrooms. I think that when we went to Katy and we went to a student event back at the end of last school year, and the speaker talked about the campus culture and climate on a school, and he asked them what's working, what's not working, what do you want to improve, and what's something that you could support. And one of the things that the kids just referenced was, sometimes the bathrooms maybe aren't as nice, if you would. Sometimes they're maybe not treated as kindly as they would want. And so the gentleman who was speaking said, if you redecorate those, maybe if you come in and you paint and you put up graphics and murals and you really take ownership of the bathrooms, possibly the kids will follow as well. And so we've talked about a military wall, a wall dedicated to all those men and women that have joined the military from Bryan High or from Rudder that have committed to the program, and so to list their names. They've talked about college walls where it shows college selection and colors and that types of things where they put up banners. They've talked about the special needs prom was really the first event that came out of that. And Lester can talk a little bit about that because, again, we look up and Lester's literally at the Boys and Girls Club. And so, Lester, talk a little bit about that event and your involvement and what you saw that night, if you would.
Well, we had several kids for our special need that came out and was very thankful and happy that we had a group of people that took time out to give back to them, to give back to the community. Our student ambassadors, our main program, like Dr. Merrill said, is leadership. We're trying to grow up in the community. Yeah. We're trying to reach out to people in the community. We want people to know that we do have students in our schools that care and that want to make a difference in our schools. And someday they can come back and look back at the school that they was at, whether it's Bryan High, Collegiate, or Rudder, and say that we was able. I'm so thankful that we was able to give back, and that's what the kids are all about.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So that day, I appreciate you saying that, Lester. We had from the ground up, that prom was designed for our students, and so the CTE program got involved. We had our cosmetology department did makeup, did hair. The home ec department, as I know it, it's culinary science, obviously made the food. We had a photographer that was there. Boys and Girls Club opened it up. Lester, again, was there making sure that everything ran properly. We had a DJ that came out for free. And as he already stated so well, like the kids were so excited. Their parents, their dates, and not only the students that it was created for, but Lester, I would say the kids that our ambassadors had as much fun as anybody.
Yes,
they did. They were just out dancing, having a great time. And so, it's one of those things. Yes, the kids could come to the regular prom. No problem. They can come to both. And what we hope is that both proms become so popular that they just are incredibly attended. So that would be kind of events that we're doing. And as Lester said, we just want to create the environment for kids to lead and to know that they can give back, that they have an opportunity to really serve this community. And I mean, the Brazos Valley needs to know that the Bryan kids are here. They're a force. They're phenomenal. They're great kids. And they're going to literally not only change Bryan High and Rudder and Bryan Collegiate, the Brazos Valley, and then we're going to send them off into the world. And given that opportunity with the right direction, I really don't think there's anything that they can't accomplish.
So how long have the student ambassadors been at Bryan High?
Yeah. Are we talking minutes or days? Or because it really is just a few months. We started at the end of May, and then we've hit the ground running. We've jokingly said we launched the plane and then started to build it, but that's pretty much what's happened. And so this is the first year.
What was the inspiration for bringing the ambassador program to Bryan ISD?
Well, I'm not joking when you think about those people you want to be like. I mean, you start thinking about people that you look up to, and Lester is one of those individuals, and you start thinking about just what it takes to make a difference. And so you just start looking around, and it's the right thing to do. I would give Ms. Carabine full credit for this. She really wanted a student movement. She wants a student movement. She knows that for the district to continue to move in the direction, the positive direction in which it's going, it's not only going to take the adults pushing and pulling and working really hard to make sure it goes there, but like I said, with Lester's out there, we want more. And so you have to involve the students, and you have to give them really the permission in so many ways to lead, to dream, to problem solve, to step into action. Whereas sometimes we just solve it for them, or we roll it out and it's already done. And And we don't want to do that. We want to give them, it's their school. I mean, and Lester said it, I mean, he said it a minute ago. They need to know they can give back. They need to know that they can make a difference. They need to know that they can serve. They need to know that they can do these things. And we have to give them permission and then support them. And not only just say, hey, go do it and be like, oh, good luck, and step back, but say good luck. And then what do you need? And what do you need? Do you need money? Do you need a ride? Do you need, do you need a bus? Do you need flyers? What do you need? A set of keys? What exactly do you need to pull this off? And it's been fun to watch them like run that route and figure out how to get it done.
And the main thing is that we don't want to leave no child behind.
That's right.
I mean, our Bryan Independent School District is, our goal is to make sure every child on every campus feels safe and feel at home.
Amen.
And with the Ambassador program, I think we have kids that really want to be part and have a heart to get involved. We started out, I know when we first started, started out with 40 people in the program, and we're up to 180 kids that want to be part of our program. And that says a lot right there.
It does.
We challenge our kids each day, who are you when no one's looking? And we tell our kids, we want you to be able to say you're somebody.
Yeah.
And giving back is one of the things that we're looking into. One of our big projects coming up, like you said on Friday night game, is Habitat for Humanity. We want to give back to the community. We want people to know that our student books come first, but extracurricular activities besides sports and other activities, we want the kids to know that we want to give back to our community that stand behind us and support us.
So, as of right now, how many members are in the program?
So, as he said, 180 at Bryan High. We probably have another 100 at Rudder. You've got another 70 at Davila and SFA. And we've got 44 specifically at Bryan Collegiate. So that adds up to 300 or 400, probably somewhere in that range. And you've got, as any organization that large, you've got a lot of them that are fully committed, some that are, because of extracurricular activities, may not be able to participate right now, but they're waiting in the spring, or they will when maybe that season kind of tapers off. So we're looking for kids that want to make a difference, and we're looking for a diverse group of kids. As Lester said, we don't want to leave any kids behind. So if you want to make a difference, we'll take you. We'd love for you to be a part of it.
So what are some of the other goals for the Ambassador program this year?
That's a great question. So we had our first collaborative, and a collaborative is where we bring our ambassadors over to, we brought them over to the Performing Arts Center next to SFA, and we adopted them out to an elementary school. So all of our ambassadors were divided into groups and then adopted to an elementary. And the goal there is for our secondary ambassadors to develop the same set of skills and talents and give back, if you would, in the elementaries, and to support the traditions, a lot of the already traditions, the already commitments, the already celebrations that the elementary campuses are doing, except with a student influence. And so, for example, we're considering, or they're doing pep rallies, academic pep rallies at elementary schools. They're also doing, maybe involving some of the student ambassadors in their fourth grade reading night or their third grade reading night. So they're figuring out authentic ways for the kids to go down to the elementary campuses and serve. They're going to work with the student councils. On many of our campuses, we already have student councils. On other ones, we don't. And so we will develop a student council there. They will be our junior ambassadors, and then at the intermediates, we'll have our young ambassadors that will eventually start to rotate and fill up. And so Bryan Collegiate has adopted the intermediate campuses, and then all of the Bryan High, Rudder, Davila, and SFA adopted all of the elementary campuses. So there's roughly 20 kids per elementary campus. They won't always be able to go, but they will. So, for example, tomorrow at Johnson, they've got a student council meeting, and our ambassadors are showing up just to encourage them. Just say, like, hey, this is what student council does at the high school, and what are your goals? What are your projects? What are you hoping to do here at Johnson? And just to encourage the kids. So that's one of the projects that we're doing.
Then one of the other things is that we challenge each campus to come up with a plan of ambassadors that they want to do, and Dr. Merrill, like he said, he's there to support them, but he challenged each campus to come up with ideas to make our program better, and the kids are so excited right now. I mean, they coming up with some great ideas to support our program, and I just can't wait
Yeah.
to get involved and help them out.
See where it goes.
So, how do you choose ambassadors for the program?
So we put it out to the staff, and we asked them for selections. We asked for, like I said, a diverse group of students, not only racially and gender, but also just with their organizations and cliques and friend groups. We wanted to make sure we had representation across the campus. If we're trying to create a student movement, you want to make sure that all the students are represented. And so we've done that. That's why, part of it is just the numbers that we have. And then we had kids that once they saw it was starting and they saw what we were about, they asked to be a part of it, and then we included those. And so we're kind of at a point now where we're capping it. We're circling back around. We're making sure that everybody's fully committed and they understand what they're fully committed to, and then we're going to move forward. Eventually, what we'd love to do is still have that representation, but also anyone that wants to participate. Now, I will tell you this. We're looking to set a standard for Letterman jackets. We want to include a route through the ambassador program to achieve and receive a Letterman jacket. We're also looking for graduation, regalia, whether that be a cord or whether that be some kind of a stole. But the kids are giving back in a similar way to National Honor Society or other types of things that we want to include and celebrate. And so hopefully that will make this will continue to make this a worthwhile organization when they start to see, I can get a Letterman jacket. Because as Lester said, you don't want to leave anybody behind. And so I may not play sports or I may not be in CTE, but if I can do this, then I could have a Letterman jacket. It could be a part of Bryan High. It could be a part of Rudder. That's really, just another thing we want to do.
How do you hope to see the program grow in the future?
Well, Lester, think about this one as well. I think one of the biggest deals is we just keep adding to it. So once an ambassador, hopefully always an ambassador, we have academic and behavioral expectations. And so if we could get everyone to meet those expectations, that would be incredibly powerful. And as we move through the years, obviously kids will graduate. We want them all to graduate when they get to their senior year. But we would just continue to add to it. So let's say we have 300 this year and, 75 graduate, but we add another 150. You could see where the numbers start to grow, and you really get a kind of collective ideal of what it means to be a Viking. So it may not be necessarily just I'm an ambassador. It's now this is just how as a Viking we act. So.
And I would just say by word of mouth. I mean, because kids see it. And really and truly, I have seen so many kids have come back and encouraged some of them friends, hey, you don't know what ambassador is all about until you get involved. And they challenge one another to encourage, to push one another, to help them grow and be strong. And they even encourage them to go talk to their principals to see what they need to do to get an ambassador. And that's what the program is all about.
So can you tell me a little bit about the Bryan ISD Build program specifically?
Yeah, we can. So obviously Habitat for Humanity is in this community. They've built multiple homes. They're for a deserving family. It's not a handout, it's a hand up. And it's a zero interest loan, but they definitely do pay for that mortgage. And so what we've decided to do, Ms. Carabon has put the vision in front of us, the goal in front of us to have basically a Bryan ISD Build. We would fundraise, we would fully support that home. We would be able to, the 65, 70, whatever the cost of the home would be, and then we would actually build it. So as a community, as a district, we would be out there hammering. We'd literally be building this home, and our students can pick up a hammer. They could pick up a paintbrush. They can do the same types of things. And so we're wanting, they've assured us that it'll be a Bryan family, and hopefully they'll have a Bryan ISD student in the home, and we'd be able to give them a set of keys that we would all just have ownership of. We'd be able to, like Lester said, be able to look back and say, hey, we did that. Our time here was definitely about academics, definitely about these things, but we were able to build a home for a family, and that's just an amazing thought. When I came to college at A&M, my first introduction to Habitat was in Bryan. I helped build a couple homes down in Bryan, and so just that thought, I can remember going down painting the ceiling, getting it all over me, going down with my friends and really having that experience, and that's what we want. We want that experience for our kids and for our staff.
How are you hoping to get the ambassadors involved with the build?
Yeah, well, they've already reached out, and they're going to do a photo op coming up They've scheduled it out to be able to bring some attention and some advertisement. And as Lester said, we're fundraising currently. Lester's not going to say this, but I'm going to say it. You know, Lester's going to support it. So he's already put his own personal commitment in the ring. He's already said he's going to help fundraise. We've got every elementary has decided to do some type of fundraiser, and then all the other schools are as well. So it's just that every school in Bryan ISD is doing it. Not this Friday, but next Friday, the ambassadors will be running the concession stand, and all of the donations that would normally go to the nonprofit will go to the build. And so we'll hopefully get at least $1,000 from that, but we could get tips. There's a QR code that you could donate. So we're just reaching out to the community and letting them know what we're doing, hopefully bringing attention, bringing some notoriety to it, and I believe the funds will follow. So that's kind of where we're heading. And then out of that, we'll just start to build it. Hopefully in January, by then, we'll have the money that we need, and we can start actually constructing the house.
And actually, it is this Friday, the football game against Bryan and Temple concession. We will be running the concession stand. But one of the things that I really want to say is that Habitat is a community-wide program that really do help out people. And I am so thankful and blessed that we have the opportunity of Bryan ISD, because my dream was one day I'm always helping other organizations, and I want to give something back. So one of my big peaks is to challenge in our schools to give, because I'm challenging them to really take this seriously and participate. And then whatever we match, I'm gonna go along and double it, because I want to challenge. And a lot of kids already said, as long as you're involved, I'm going to help participate.
That's actually terrifying to think, because Lester, you may or may not know this. Obviously, you know this. He gives away scholarships every year that he personally raises the money for. Lester, how many scholarships did you give last year?
32.
32 individual scholarships last year to deserving kids in Bryan ISD, not just Bryan High.
Right.
Bryan ISD.
All 4 high schools.
All 4 high schools. So, it's one of those things that I joked about it, like it being called the Lesters, but the reality is Lester's leading. I mean, and he's not the only one. We have other people that are doing it. But when you look across this campus and you see Lester at events, you see him fundraising, you see him doing these things, it's like, well, we can do that. Why can't we? Like, just keep doing it, keep moving forward. And so we'll have other folks just like Lester that will want to match, that will want to donate, that will want to profit share, that will want to do those things. And so our kids are just stepping up and saying, look, we'll do it. We'll raise the money. You match it. We'll do the work. You give us the profit shares. We'll do the concession stand. We'll do those types of things. So anyway, that's I appreciate him saying that.
So what are you hoping that the Bryan ISD students gain out of helping with the build?
Lester, help me answer this one. I think there's a host of things. I think just the fact that they can give back. I think there's an altruistic attitude and a mindset that comes with just seeing other people and feeling a need that really is outside of yourself, that gives back to yourself. And so I think that would be one thing. I mean, secondly, just giving a family a home. I mean, the ability to help them get into a home, for them to have a permanent place to stay that's their own, that they own, that they can commit to, that they can start to lay down roots, that they can, just have memories in, I think is incredibly powerful. I think that's the build. More importantly than that, though, it's just this ideal of being an ambassador and just giving back, I think, and looking beyond yourself, I think really is something I'm excited for. I don't know if you can think of anything else.
And that's the key. It's just giving back. I mean, the kids are excited that they can come to school, make their grades, take care of their business, but most important, they can make a difference in somebody's life by giving back.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
Yeah, it's fun. Honestly, I mean, it really is. I mean, I loved coming to school. I love, I sort of like math. I sort of liked reading. I sort of like science. I sort of like those things. I really love my elective classes, like this one. And this would have been something I would have loved to have done, to be able to go to elementary school, to get to know those kids, to give back, to hang out, to be able to do something just different during the day, and to have things with my friends to do at night, on the weekends. Like those are things that I enjoy as an adult, that I know the kids are going to want to, and it really starts to develop even stronger community, as opposed to just a bunch of people that live in a town.
So, is there anything else that either of you would like to add?
I'd just like the person to say thank you to the administrators, staff, and the students of Bryan Independent School District, because they have made an impact on my life. The thing that makes me feel good is every morning I get up, I don't care where I'm going, McDonald's or at one of the elementary school, Busbourne or whatever. When you have a kid walk up to you and give you a hug and say, I appreciate what you do for us. Thanks for making a difference in my life. You know, that really touches my heart. And it goes back to what I said from day one. If you can reach out and touch one person's life and make a difference in their life, you've done your job. And that's what I'm all about. I don't care what it is, and I always tell the kids, and I will continue to tell the kids, if you need anything that I, Lester Banks, can do to help you be successful in life, you call on me any day, any time of the night. I'll be there for you.
Yeah, and he says one person. We know that that's like one person a day for Lester. So, you know, I would just want to say thank you to Lester, Jennifer Smith. I mean, I think through Laura Stafford, Kristen Regan. I think through all the people that really have made this program what it is already, and all the hard work of the campus facilitators, the leaders that are just having the conversations and are developing the relationships and are doing the hard work. I really appreciate. I appreciate Ms. Carabine giving us the vision and the direction and the expectation of we're going to have a student movement. And so I think the school board as well for just putting that on us and expecting more from us. And so anyway, I think if I was going to say anything, I would just say thank you to those people.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Merrill and Mr. Banks, for being with us today, highlighting the Ambassador Program.
We appreciate you doing our first ever podcast. I've never done one before. So
Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank y'all.